step one, I suppose, is actually add myself to the video broadcast. That would be a good place to start, right? Step two, of course, would have the microphone on. I'm sitting here, twiddling my thumbs going, that's a really long intro to the show. I really need to shorten that. Gosh, what can I do during this time? I don't know, maybe turn the microphone on, stupid. Maybe add yourself to the meeting so people can actually see you on Facebook, on Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube, on Donner, on Blitzen. All right, too early for Christmas stuff. It really is. It really is, isn't it? The windows are still open here in my house. It's a little chilly, especially when you're just out of the shower. Too much information. And getting dressed. It's a little, whew. But nonetheless, there we go. Let me see. Here's another thing I could have done. That's the Lowell Green telephone. Let's take that out and replace it with the let me just say this about that telephone so that you can actually call into the show and participate and stuff. Yes, I work off 3 different cell phones every single day. So there's that. Hey, anything you want to talk about? What's on your mind? What have you seen out there that's really upsetting you, bugging you, you'd like to address, you'd like to give some attention to? Do you have a pretty cool fundraiser going on? You got a new business you want to tell the world about? Whatever. I've got 4 or 5 people watching, listening. Might be of benefit to you. 613-604-6464 is the number here. 613-604-6464. Here you go. Actually, if you're watching on one of our video links, let me just post there. I just posted it. It's a StreamYard link. If you'd like to appear via video, you can click that and join in easy as that. Jules the Dancer wants to talk about the Big Bird controversy. Oh, it's on my list, Jules. It's on my list. But let me just say this about that. Let me ask you a question. Chrystia Freeland, our Deputy Prime Minister, a couple days ago, had some choice words for Air Canada. More specifically, their CEO. Saying that it would behoove him, I'm paraphrasing, but to learn French. Apparently, he only speaks English. I posted yesterday a reminder to our Deputy PM, maybe before you start going after CEOs of privately held companies, you might want to have a talk with your own boss, who, by the way, appointed a non-French speaking person as this country's head of state. Mary Simon, our new Governor General, does not speak French. But here's the question, and I say this as someone who does speak French. I took French immersion in school. I'm not certified as bilingual, but I took French immersion in school. I was one of the first, my year was one of the first years where French immersion was offered. And I spent 4 different summers in Quebec, living with families on a student exchange, learning the culture, learning the language, and fell in love with the language and the culture. Is Quebec distinct? Sure. More so than other places in this country? Not so sure about that. Mais je suis capable de parler français. Avec un accent anglophone, oui, mais je suis capable de parler en français. Je suis pas bilingue. Ici au Canada, je suis capable de parler français comme ça, mais je suis pas bilingue because I can't write in French. So, okay. But here's the question. With all the technology that exists around us today, does it really matter what language anybody speaks anymore? If you're the CEO of Air Canada, for example, sure, it's a nice thing to be able to speak French to your French-speaking customers, but is it also not a nice thing to be able to speak Mandarin to your Chinese customers, or Arabic, or Spanish, or I mean, any good company, and I've got people who follow this show who work as translators. Any good company is going to have excellent translators in place who can make sure that the word gets out. In fact, if you're a really great company, you recognize exactly who your audience is. Like, I live in the south end of the city. There is a very large Middle Eastern population here. There's a very large Arabic population here. It makes a lot of sense for any business here in the Hunt Club area, South Keys, Blossom Park area. And I applaud it every time I see it. But when they do a sign up for their business and they include Arabic, you see it every now and then, too, during an election campaign. A very savvy candidate will make sure that there's English, that there's French, and yes, those are the two official languages in this country. But that's not all we speak. I've seen many political flyers arrive at my door in Arabic. It makes a lot of sense. So, by the way, good morning, Marcy. I realize I owe you a bunch of text messages. Marcy, thank you for chiming in this morning. I got a couple crazy things on the go anyway, that's not an excuse. Holly says, the best language in the world is the language of love. Yeah, I agree, Holly. I'm just not sure that the language of love is going to be one of those things that a CEO for an airline can put out. It'll go over really, really well with the audience. Bonjour, mes amis. Merci beaucoup d'avoir vacationné avec Air Canada. Je t'aime. Je t'aime beaucoup. Merci. Yeah, that's not going to go over very well. But this is the question that I'm asking. And so far, it seems to be, getting, a fairly favorable response. But in this day and age, my phone will translate anything I say to any other language. It may not be perfect at it. God knows. Google Translate or even Facebook Translate. It's fun sometimes just how literally it will do a translation, which, makes it wrong, but it also makes it cute. But at the end of the day, we now have tools in place where we can communicate with people like we've never been able to communicate before. Does it really matter if the CEO of a company, and listen, I understand Air Canada's got a lot of French-speaking customers. But does that French-speaking customer really care that the CEO speaks their language? Or does that customer care that when they call to book or they call an information line, that they can be served by someone who speaks French? There's a difference. Julie says, I honestly believe that you should hire the best for the job, not based on language. Julie, I agree. It's coming down to that. We have excellent candidates. Excellent candidates for jobs. The best person for the job. Yeah, but they don't speak French. Okay, well, as Craig says, it all comes down to the service. To me, that's the impression you want to leave your customer with. As long as you're hiring the right people who can communicate what it is you want to communicate to your customer base, in my opinion, and it seems to be in your opinion too. So there you go. Let me just say this about that. So that's interesting. Yeah. So but I did find it ironic that Chrystia Freeland is barking about that. Meanwhile, her own boss turns around and we can't get past this. Oh, she doesn't speak French thing. Well, she does have a pretty good command of the English language, and she also speaks, and I don't know which of our indigenous languages she speaks exactly, but she does speak an indigenous language. Isn't that important? Do we just discount that? I don't think we do. I think that's kind of cool, especially considering the place we're at in the world. Anyway, 613-604-6464 if you want to chime on in. The video link is posted right. I'll just do it again for you. Whoops, that's the wrong link. Ignore the backs. No, there it is. It's the correct link. Yes, Big Bird. Julie wanted to talk about Big Bird. I just happened to see this morning scrolling through. Here's the headline. Republican feathers ruffled after Big Bird says he had Pfizer vaccine shot. Oh, no. Oh, no. Suddenly we are politicizing Sesame Street. And look, I guess the very fact that Sesame Street went ahead and had Big Bird declare that he's been vaccinated, they kind of stepped in it. Good question from Ken. Was it the Republicans or just Ted Cruz? Well, Ken, here's my experience. And I'm just observing from up here in Canada. But it seems to me that when one Republican has an idea that creates a shitstorm, they're all on board with it. I mean, we're just, we're going around in circles on this whole vaccine, non-vaccine debate and whatever else. As has been said, the world changed. The world changed. And I think what this is boiling down to is the people, they sit there and they yell and they scream about their rights. My rights, my rights, my rights, my rights, my rights. Well, have you taken a look at our Charter of Rights and Freedoms? I don't see anywhere in there that says you have the right to go to a hockey game. I don't see anything in there that says you have the right to go to a concert or the right to go to a restaurant. These are privileges. And the world changed. And I'm not saying that you have to get vaxxed. You don't. You don't. That is absolute. I hope you do. I believe. And again, we can get into this debate about what I believe versus you believe on any myriad of subjects. But I believe, because I haven't seen any other solutions out there thus far, I believe this is the only viable solution we've got right now. This vaccine. And I believe that the more people that are vaccinated, the better chance we have of getting back to some semblance of normal. But if you don't want to put that in your body, you have that right. But with that right comes, I don't even want to say consequences. But I mean, we've always had rules in place. You can't just walk into you can't just walk into a Walmart with no shirt on. Okay, that's a bad example because, yeah, you can't apparently. What was the meme I saw the other day? Oh, my God, it had me howling. It's a pretty rotten day when I have to get out of my PJs and comb my hair so I can leave the Walmart and go to Target. Something along those lines. But you know what I mean? Like you can't just walk into you can't just walk into Costco naked. There are consequences if you do. Am I violating your rights by insisting you put pants on? I mean, it's risks, it's liabilities, and look, if you make a choice and your choice is not that of the overwhelming majority, regardless of the circumstance, whether it's a vaccine, whether it's a boardroom meeting, you don't get your way sometimes. As Kath says right there, no shoes, no shirts, no service. I've given that example lots of times. Nobody's taking away your rights. Nobody's, this whole idea, Mike Fisher. Oh, God, Mike Fisher. Great hockey player, likable guy. I really, married to Carrie Underwood. I question why he's even weighed in on this. He's defending Aaron Rodgers. Okay, so that's a couple of athletes, talking about their bodies. And let's face it, athletes pay very close attention to their bodies. But in comes the shitstorm. Why would Mike do that? I can't help but think, with this massive pushback on vaccines, does that create an opportunity from the PR department, from the PR standpoint of the enterprise that is Carrie Underwood? Because going forward, there will be buildings that they want to play in that they can't play in because they're not vaxxed or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Does this then create an opportunity for them to find venues and, where instead of playing one night or two nights, now they're playing 5, 6, 7, 8 nights because, I want to support this? There's a lot of money to be made on the other side of this thing. And I've given this example before. I follow lots of broadcasters, and I follow one particular gentleman who, look, otherwise I get along very well with this person. And I'm not going to give names. But he's had a very lovely little podcast that I've even been on for the longest time. And he would talk about mental health. And he'd get a couple hundred views. And that was nice. Well, since he's taken an anti-vax stance, he's up to like 3,000 views. The difference in income potential between couple of hundred views and a couple of thousand views, where are you going to keep going? What are you going to keep yelling and screaming about? Duh. Craig says everything is open. Over 85% of Canadians 12 and over are double vaxxed. So why are you pushing the non-vaxxed when double vaxxed individuals are catching and spreading COVID? Craig, They are, absolutely. But this is a vaccine. It's not a cure. Nobody has professed that this is a cure. But if you're double vaxxed, you have a much higher probability that you're not going to contract it. And if you do, your symptoms will be minimized. You have a much better likelihood that you're not going to spread it. But it's a vaccine. It limits. It doesn't cure. In the history of humans on this planet, we have cured polio, and there was one other one. I can't remember what it was. We've cured 2 diseases. That's it. Everything else, we have vaccines for. I'm not, and Craig, I'm not pushing it. I support it. I believe, like I said, it's the right thing to do. Smallpox. Thank you, Lori. That's what was coming off the tip of my tongue, but I wasn't quite sure that I was going to say the right thing. By the way, speaking of which, listening back to a little bit of the Low Green podcast yesterday, and I referenced Maxime Bernier's party. I called them the CPP or the CCP. No, that's Russia. It's the People's Party of Canada. So apologies there. Yeah, Craig, I'm not pushing anything on anyone. I support, again, it's your body. I support that if you don't want this, I believe you have that right. But I also support the fact that, if the overwhelming majority of the world thinks that the vaccine is the good idea and they put policies in place that are well-intentioned to try and protect people, I mean, what other solutions have we got right now, Craig? Offer me up another solution. I'm not seeing another solution to this. So we're just supposed to sit around, hunker down, and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. until the anti-vaxxers are satisfied that, okay, it's been 20 years now. Now I'm satisfied that this vaccine may be okay. Look, the vaccines and I don't know much about, dude, I'm the last person who should be talking about science. In a nutshell, I flunked grade 9 science in grade 9. Then I flunked it in summer school. Then I flunked grade 9 science in grade 10. Then I flunked it in summer school again. Same thing happened by the time I got to grade 10 science. So what I do know is that the kids that were really, really good in science are really, really good at science and are really, really smart and know stuff that I will never know. And when they say, and look, SARS, remember SARS? That is a COVID virus. COVID-19 is just the latest variant of it. It's much like it's not much like the flu. But in terms of mutations and how this thing changes, the COVID-19 we're dealing with right now is a very different variation of the COVID we were dealing with that we called SARS. They've had vaccines for that. So just like the flu mutates every single year and they adapt the vaccine to keep up with it, my understanding is, and this is my understanding, this is my show, I have the right to say this, and you have a right to call the show and say what you want to say. I will listen to you. I will listen to you. I'm all ears. But as the virus zigs and zags, you zig and zag with it. So these viruses are not new. The only thing that was rushed was, okay, we need a solution for this now. Instead of you having to wait your turn in line to present your findings, this one gets priority right now. Front of the line, into the club you go. Let's listen to what you got. Yup. This is approved. Now, it wasn't approved the same way that medications are. It was approved for emergency use. They were satisfied that the vaccines were doing their thing. Craig, I am not belittling those that don't want it. Do you listen to what I'm saying? Am I belittling anybody? I don't think I am. I really don't think I am. And if you think I am, tell me how. I just said I support your right to not have the vaccine if you don't want the vaccine. But if I'm in the minority, so we're going to turn the table. If I'm in the minority in a boardroom decision or in an election, if the candidate I vote for is in the minority, I have to accept what the majority have said. And if the majority have said, I choose the vaccine, I want to be able to go to concerts, I want to be able to go to restaurants, and I want to be assured that the people that I'm going to the concerts and sporting events and restaurants with are also vaccinated, majority rules. Thank you, Craig. No, I thank you, because I really don't believe I have belittled. I know there are some people out there who are, Craig. I'm not oblivious to that. I just think. I mean, I can't live in lockdown any longer. And I'm not seeing any other solutions out there. Everywhere I turn, and it's not just in Canada, it's around the world. The vaccines, I mean, this is how we have dealt with every single virus that has come our way. We've never seen anything, to this scale in our lifetimes. But hey, man, listen, if there's another solution out there, sure, bring it on. And I mean, this continues to evolve too. They're now talking about pills that seem to be, successful in this thing. But listen, Craig, I'm also well aware of your stance, on the vaccines. You make that you bring that up with Lowell Green constantly, and I'm glad you're part of that show and part of that dialogue. I know he's rough on you sometimes, and I credit where credit is due. You stand up for yourself, and you are willing to have that debate. Most run and hide from it. So yeah, no, I'm not belittling you. I just think in any situation, the majority rules. You can not like the fact that the majority chose that. I'm not really happy with the fact that the way our electoral system works, the majority of seats in the House of Commons belong to a party that I really have zero faith in. But I have to respect the process. I have to respect the way my fellow Canadians voted. I have to respect the office. And all I can do is control what I have control over. I can keep writing to my MP and my MPPs, and I can hold them to account, and I can make them abundantly aware that I'm watching their every move, and that whatever they think they're doing now is going to have repercussions down the road if I don't agree with it. I will continue to fight for what I believe in, peacefully, quietly, but I accept that I didn't get my wishes on this election. That's a free and democratic world as far as I'm concerned. Nobody's but don't claim that anybody's taking away your rights. You have the right to not be vaccinated. And I will defend to my death your right to not be vaccinated. But not being allowed to go to a concert is not taking away a right. It's taking away a privilege. There's a difference. And like I said, the world changed. The world changed. Offer me up a different solution. Let me look at it. I'm all ears. Thanks for the conversation, guys. That was much appreciated. I get so anxious anytime that I see that this is good, and Big Bird of all people, Big Bird takes me down this path. Damn it. I would have thought Oscar the Grouch of anybody. That would be the one to get me, or Animal. Yeah. No, Big Bird takes me down the anti-vax conversation. I try and avoid it because I just know, and I try and choose my words. Like yesterday, I posted, are you still a fan of Mike Fisher? You want to see my DMs? Kills me. And by the way, on that, if you are so convicted to, if you really believe the things you're saying to me in a direct message, I wouldn't want to post this publicly, but if you don't want to post it publicly, then I'm not even going to entertain the idea of debating you. I put my world out there. Rightly or wrongly, but to me, that's what social media is for. Let's have a public discussion about the things that are bugging us, or making us happy, or exciting us, or inspiring us, or bringing us down. I can't have that conversation and really hope to have any sort of effect if it's in a DM. It's on my timeline, or I'm not having the debate, period. In other news, moving on from Big Bird to the Beebs. Are you ready? November 29th, your Tim Hortons will be selling not Timbits, but Tim Biebs. That's right. Justin Bieber and Tim Hortons have teamed up for Tim Biebs. I can call them what you want. They're still a delicious little snack. But why? I don't know. And let me guess, the commercial is going to play on the whole yummy, 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 yum, 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 yummy, 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 yum. Cheers, Craig. Thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate you always. Even if we don't necessarily agree, Craig, I do appreciate a healthy and respectful debate, and you are always respectful to that. But yeah, so there you go. Get ready for Justin Bieber signs, etc., all over your local Tim Hortons. Oh, I mean, is he even a thing now? Like, do your kids? Like, I remember back in the day. My God, if you had like an 11 or 12-year-old daughter, you know, oh my God, Justin Bieber, yeah. But I mean, you know, that 10 or 11-year-old daughter of yours is probably 20, 21 now. Is she still losing her mind over Justin Bieber? Hell, maybe your 20, 21-year-old son is. That's fine. Is Bieber still a thing? I guess he is, obviously. Somebody at Tim Hortons certainly thought so, but anyway. See, there's Kath. Yep, my daughter wanted to marry him. Heinz says, as long as they don't mess with my coffee, I don't care who they team up with. So that's an interesting question, Hein. And you're a truck driver. So I know that you would have, you know, certain places on whatever route you're taking that you would frequent. It's interesting to see that Tim Hortons is still your go-to. Because again, this is another one of those topics that you post it and you're going to end up in, I mean, not nearly as a contentious argument as you do if you post about COVID, but McDonald's versus Tim's. To me, something's changed in the Tim's coffee. It's fine. I'll drink it. But maybe my tastes have changed. I don't know. But I find right now, as far as, you know, fast food coffee is concerned, McDonald's has got the best coffee going. I really think they do. But if you've got your choice as far as a drive-through for coffee is concerned, I'm curious. What's your go-to? Starbucks? And tell me why. Starbucks, McDonald's, Tim's. There's a Coffee Time up near Finley Creek, which I find interesting. It's like the only one. A&W's got a decent coffee. Is Second Cup still around? They must be. Ooh, Jenny says her first choice is Bridgehead, followed by McDonald's and Tim's. Bridgehead doesn't have drive-thrus, though, I don't think. Do they? I like going into a Bridgehead. I just like the whole vibe of the place. But I don't think they got a drive-thru. There, Susie with the most honest answer I've seen so far. For me, whatever coffee shop is the closest to where I am. Good point, Chris. For some reason, you don't see McDonald's coffee cups all over the road. It's true, Chris. It's true. You know, a couple of years back, I went on, I kept posting videos and photos every single day of my ventures through the dog park and what I dubbed poo trees. Well, not only are there poo trees, but there are Tim trees too. I swear, when you walk, I don't know if this happens at Bruce Pit, but at Conroy Pit, which is an off-leash dog park, and I live right near it, so I'm there every day. People, okay, credit where credit is due. People do pick up their poop. Not all the time, but some people do pick up their poop, but then they can't bear to carry the poop. So they take the poop bag and they hang it on a tree. I don't know why. Is the idea that I will come back here later and grab the poop off the tree and take it to the disposal bin? Or is it, I picked it up, but here, it's somebody else's problem to deal with? I think it's disgusting. But now, like you go through there, and you're absolutely right, Chris. I see, like, people walk, you know, they grab a Tim's, and then they head to the dog park, and then they take their Tim's cup, and they stick it on a branch of a tree, instead of chucking it, or carrying it to the garbage. They take the cup, and they hang it upside down on a branch, like it's a drying rack. But I don't see McDonald's cups. I was going to say, you know, maybe because there's not a Tim Hortons right near there. a McDonald's right near there, but there is. There actually is. There's a McDonald's. Well, there's a McDonald's in Finley Creek. There's a McDonald's at Bank and Hunt Club, and there's a McDonald's at Hunt Club, and I want to say Laurie Greenberg, which happens to be right next door to a Tim's. But you're right. For some reason, you don't see the McDonald's cups littered all over the place. If I do happen to see a McDonald's poop tree, I'll be sure to take a picture of it and just say, oh my God, they do exist. McPoop trees. Coming soon, apparently, you'll have your Tim Bieber trees. Whatever. One of the coolest stories out there right now. I haven't seen the commercial in a while, but I'm sure you have. Teaching people that if you are being held against your will, if you are being abused and you're afraid, but you can get to a window or you are on a video chat, that you can very discreetly, and I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. Please don't call 911. This is just me demonstrating. But I'm sure you've seen it advertised that if you can safely, what is it? You tuck your thumb in and then you put your fingers over your thumb, palm out, facing the camera, facing the window. But if you're in an abusive situation that you can't get out of, if you're in fear for your life, that's one of the things that they're telling people to do is just, your abuser is in the other room. You can't verbalize that you need help, but you can, so it's thumb in and then fingers down. And please, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, this started in Canada. This little sign. Well, lo and behold, a teenager in the States ended up using it earlier this week, and the police were able to come to her rescue. Isn't that awesome? It's a Canadian idea. Pretty cool. And I hope all works out for that young lady. Pretty sad that we even need that in the first place, but there you go. And the big news of the day, People Magazine is still at it. Still spreading lies. Telling the world that I, yours truly, John Milky the Milkman, is once again not named sexiest man alive. I don't understand how this publication continues to exist and spread such falsehoods. Paul Rudd is the sexiest man alive and not John Milky? Blasphemy is exactly the word I'm looking for, Jenny. Thank you. It's okay. As long as I can be named sexiest man on your Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube feed at this particular moment. That's fine. But Paul Rudd, that's an interesting choice. I'm curious to get people's thoughts on Paul Rudd. Is he deserving of that type? I mean, cute guy, good looking man. Certainly. Craig's back. He was crushed as well. Yeah, Craig, I know. And look at that headshot that Craig's got. I mean, if that doesn't, Craig, Submitted Dairy Queen as a profile pic. You know what, Hein? The Dairy Queen herself is probably set to make a comeback in the next little while. My buddy Andre is very much wanting to get me back in drag. And listen, to stand up for my friends in the rainbow community, especially the more I watch We're Here. If you've not seen We're Here, I got to be on season 2, episode 6 or 7 by now. There has not been one episode where I haven't bawled my eyes out. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Just, I do it because and I'm borrowing from them, but they summarized it really, really well. Why am I okay doing a drag show occasionally? Because I hate the idea. I fundamentally hate the idea. And Lori's here. Lori's known me since kindergarten. I think Lori would probably tell you that as long as she's known me, I've just been that kind of person. I just really hate my fellow humans being marginalized. I don't understand why we can't just accept people for who they are. I love the differences. I love the experiences you get from people who are different from you. This is why we travel the world. We want to go and see things that are foreign to us that we don't see here. We want to try different foods and immerse ourselves in different cultures. And the minute that these differences are living and breathing right here in our own streets, it becomes a problem somehow for some people. But I just, when I talk to people like my friend Andre, who works so hard for his community, just because he sees that he can give it a voice. So he takes it upon himself to do that. But to hear him and hear other friends of mine in the LGBTQ plus 2 community, and my apologies if I missed a couple of letters there, it's unintentional. My intentions are very good on this and very sincere. But when I hear them say that they are not comfortable to even hold hands in public, and I remember back early Bob FM days, I mean, easily 10, probably closer to 15 years ago, I had a young man on my show who, and I can't even remember how he was brought to my attention, but he articulated that then. And it really struck me as just fundamentally wrong that he and his boyfriend could not live the same existence as I can, as a straight white guy. That he and his boyfriend couldn't give each other a little peck on the cheek on a sidewalk in the gay village in the city I live in. I don't get that. I don't get that. So when I watch a show like We're Here, and I see these 3 fantastic humans who, are on this show, Eureka, Bob the drag queen, and Chandra, it's not just the empowerment that they give a person by putting them in drag and putting them on stage and encouraging them just to push through their fears and their discomfort and celebrate who they truly are and just give them a moment surrounded by love and support where they can finally, for that moment, be who they are. As wonderful as that is, it is the conversations that they have leading up to that on this show about the fears, about how to get over that, about celebrating your uniqueness. It's the more diverse we are, the better we are. And why do we fight this? And that goes back to what I started this conversation with earlier. Language, for example. We fight each other over language, when we can very simply talk to our phone and hold it up to someone and it translates for them. And now we're communicating. It just, we're so divided on so many things, and we're at each other all the time. To me, Yeah, I'm a straight guy. I've always been attracted to women. It's a very natural thing for me. But what's natural for me is not always natural for someone else. And I've used this example before. I don't know if it's the best example, but here I go again. I really like chocolate mint ice cream. Really like chocolate mint ice cream. If you happen to think pralines and cream is the best ice cream, for some reason, I am naturally wired to love chocolate mint. For some reason, you are naturally wired to love pralines and cream. Can we not get along? Do I have to oppose you because you don't like the same ice cream as me? Or can we sit down and have ice cream together? And you can teach me a thing or two about why pralines and cream is better. And I can try and convince you otherwise about, yeah, Heinz says, what about a Pink Whitney ice cream? That needs to be a thing. That needs to be a thing. Chris says, I think back to TV, even shows that were progressive wouldn't show gay couples the same way. No Open Affection could be displayed. A show like Amazing Race, as an example, would celebrate having a gay couple, but they wouldn't be shown kissing or holding hands like the straight couples would. This is improving, but there's still a massive discrepancy in terms of how love is displayed. The answer is easy. Just let humans be humans. But for some reason, this is treated like a puzzle. Yep, you're right. Grembly Gunk? Is that, I hope I'm saying your name right. Grembly Gunk? I like all the ice creams, but without a cone. Oh, you like it sloppy. I'm all for that too. So all this to say, I will happily, if the rainbow community offers up an opportunity for me to be part of what they are doing, to celebrate themselves, and if it requires me putting on some heels and a dress and doing it, why not? Why not? And people who don't get it and people who think it's odd and people who push back against it, they're not people I need in my life. And I'm at a good enough place in my own mental health and in my own development as a human where I really just don't need to pay. And by the way, I've not really met anyone who's been put off by it or turned off by it. There's Andre right now. Hey, sugar. But I certainly know that, for people who, are trans, and I do a wonderful podcast with Ms. Lana every Monday called Transposition. And we talk about, her living as a trans woman. And I'm learning so much as I think I have already learned in the knowledge I've acquired. There's always something new for me to discover that I didn't know before. It's called being. It's just the human thing. Come to Pride. We'll be okay with it. Girl, I am all over Pride. I was so excited when the new organizers took over Pride and BTR was invited to be part of the parade. It was an absolute yes. We decorated up my truck. We had some of the best tunes going. I had trans, queer, gay, bi, poly, BDSM. I had so many members of the community marching with us and handing out BTR stickers, etc. I was so excited to do that. The following year, unfortunately, the cost of being in that parade was I just couldn't afford it. But if there are ever opportunities for me to be part of Pride in some way, shape, or form, the answer is always yes. If I'm in town, unfortunately, Pride tends to happen towards like in August. And that's typically when my wife and I end up in New Brunswick for vacation. It's just the way things work out with our schedules. But if I am here, I will always. And by the way, if you'd like to see Andre, you're there right now. If you've got a link to the video that I did as Ms. Dairy Queen. So this was not this past August. It was the August previous. For Pride, Diversity in the Capitol had asked me if I would become Ms. Dairy Queen. and perform for Virtual Pride. And I did, with a blonde wig. Andre did the makeup. It was absolutely stunning. Red sequin dress. I rocked the high heels. Hell, I even shaved my legs for that. Happily. But Andre, if you've got a link to that video, I would love to put that up there for people to see. I will always, 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 always stand up for what I know to be right. And how did I get onto that topic? Let me check my notes. Oh, yeah, sexiest man alive. And then Heinz like, what about Dairy Queen? See, this is what I love about our mornings together. I jot down a couple of notes, some ideas, and I don't really script anything. I don't really have, I've certainly got an opinion on whatever it is I'm talking about. But I love that it veers down, a path that I don't see through the woods every now and then. James, that video was awesome. He says, thanks. I'm glad you enjoyed that. It's fun to do. It really is fun to do. And I'll tell you this, I was very, very, very careful. And I asked a lot of friends of mine who do drag and do it very, very well. There's the video link now. It's a 5-hour show, but he's got the link up now. So, you can fast forward through that and find it there. But yeah, the Virtual Pride thing, it was such a riot to do, but I didn't want to. My understanding of drag was that this is something done predominantly by gay men who dress as women and put on a show. And I checked with my friends, Ms. Divalicious. I checked with Ms. Imagine That. I checked with Andre, who does drag as Ms. Horizon. And I asked them very matter-of-factly, am I disrespecting the community? Am I disrespecting this amazing performance art and expression that you put out there if I do this? And every single person I talk to, and every burlesque show and every drag show that I've hosted where I've put on heels or I've put on makeup or I've dressed in full drag, the support I've received from people who live this every day has been 100% supportive. They embrace it. They celebrate it. And they are fine with me doing that. And it's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. It's first off, I always enjoyed drama class in high school, and I've done radio for a living. Radio allows me to really become, there's a big part of real me in what you hear on the radio every day, but a lot of it is performance too, especially on the days where I'm really struggling, right? You've got to, and you hear people talk about, putting on the mask. Sometimes I have to act. I have to become an actor who is performing as John Milkey. Because John Milkey that particular day is just not able to be John Milkey. So a lot of it is performance, but really behind drag, and I take this so seriously, it is a celebration. It is an opportunity to express individuality and uniqueness, and I absolutely respect it, because people who do this on the level of the aforementioned Madge and Divalicious, etc., Ms. Horizon, it's really a big part of their life. It really, really is a big part of their life. Speaking of Andre on the phone right now, hey girlfriend.
Hi, girl.
What's going on?
Oh, not much. Just living the dream, looking like crap from having makeup on yesterday.
Yeah, was it T's Pub last night you were at again?
Yeah, so it's Talent Tuesdays, every Tuesday.
Okay. So this is, last week we had you on and you were trying to encourage me to come down and do Talent Tuesday. And this is where I fought back on. It's not that I object to, dressing up and doing that. I just don't believe I have any talent to perform in front of an audience other than standing there looking gorgeous. I just don't know what I have to offer the world, Andre.
If you lip sync a song, then that's called talent.
Yeah, and that's
putting makeup on and getting on stage and heels and everything.
Except you're the one putting makeup on me, so that's your talent. I'm just the canvas.
You're thinking this way too much.
Yes, but that's not unusual for me. You know that.
The little kid in the pup mask that's playing guitar and singing, okay, yeah, that's talent. We're just the filler in between to give people something to look at. I mean, I performed for a couple of people yesterday, and it's great because nobody paid attention. So I slapped all that makeup on for a couple of people to just keep chatting.
Yeah, but honey, you can actually sing.
Yes, I did sing a little bit.
Yeah, right. So you can get up on stage, and not only do you look amazing, not only do you have fantastic skin, not only do you know how to do makeup, not only do you have a kick-ass collection of dresses and wigs and the figure for it, but when it comes to a talent contest, you can sing. When it comes to the talent contest, well, okay, performance. When it comes to the talent portion of what am I going to do? And I've asked you this before. It's I don't even need an answer to the question. There's nothing I can do, Andre.
It's called a drag show. I'm just going to start calling it a damn drag show, because every time I call it talent, you keep pushing back on me because you don't think you have talent. Yes, you do.
Okay. So let's revisit this then. Let me come at it from a different angle. I need to do more than just show up on a stage dressed in drag. I
got a few ideas for you there.
Okay, but if I great. And that's the conversation we probably need to have. I am all for doing this. You know, I'm all for doing this. I just don't.
Have you ever seen Priscilla movie where she spits the ping pongs out of?
Out of what?
Well, that's what I'm going to leave up to you.
Well. My mind went all kinds of weird places on that, and I don't even know if on internet.
I know where hers came from.
I don't even know if I want to go there on internet radio. Right?
You're welcome, folks, for that Wednesday visual.
Yeah, right. But this is the thing. Like, I'm all for doing that. You know, I'm all for doing that, and I will happily get up on stage. I just want to make sure. I guess what I'm saying is I need to develop some performance pieces that I can go to. Lip syncing, dancing, whatever. Honestly, I don't have any of that in my purse right now. None of it.
Honestly, the talent is learning 2 songs to be able to perform them without fault. That is a talent in itself, because it's not everybody that can lip sync. Because, you know, even though you might think you're a singer, you might not necessarily be a lip syncer, because you've got to have the words. You've got to make people believe that you're singing. Like, you know, when you see a lot of live concerts or performances on TV, chances are they're lip syncing. Like those award shows, they're all lip syncing their own songs.
Oh, I know that.
But they make it believable that they're singing live.
Some don't. Most drag queens I know make the singing or the lip syncing much more believable than the artists themselves. I'm sorry, Britney.
Exactly.
I love Britney, but nobody lip syncs Britney Spears songs as badly as Britney Spears does.
Oh yeah, she'll do her sound check live, but the whole concert is friggin' lip sync. I know. I worked at the Molson Amphitheater when she did a concert.
By the way, have you? Because I asked you the other day. I texted you and asked you if you had seen We're Here, and you had not. Have you had a chance to check any of the episodes out?
No, I have 3 days off, and today is one of them.
Okay. I hope you get a chance to watch some of it. There was, just speaking of the whole lip syncing thing, Eureka, who is, well over 6 feet, probably closer. She jokes that, pushing 500 pounds. Big girl. I just don't know that 500 pounds is that accurate. But Eureka is this larger than life, beautiful, gentle, lovely human being who on stage in drag just gives it everything they've got.
Yeah. And
offered up a tip in one of the episodes that my jaw dropped to the floor, and I thought I'd share it with you or for anybody who's ever doing any lip syncing. Eureka says, if you ever forget the words, all you have to do is mouth maple syrup motherfucker. And
that's not what we used to do back in the day.
And it will appear as if you actually know the words you're singing. Maple syrup, motherfucker.
I'm gonna have to try that, especially when I'm singing live and I forget the words. But I never
you see, and so I'm telling you this in the hopes that somehow we've put your mic live as you belt out a Celine Dion ballad.
Yeah,
and the whole
Give me someone else that I don't know.
All right, a Whitney, whatever song, some lovely Whitney Houston thing, whatever you found, and suddenly the mic is live, and there's Andre, maple syrup, motherfucker.
Well, no, I sang last night live, but it's like because I don't have the words in front of me, so I was singing. I think it was Enrique Iglesias, and I forgot the words. Well, I just turned to the audience and started talking to them, but. Now I know I can just start singing maple syrup, motherfucker, and then they'll all.
And I wish I could take credit for being the one to give you that tip, but no, that comes from Eureka herself. So,
all right, well, I'll have to check that out,
honey. It's really a great show, and it really, it really speaks to where my heart comes from. When I, I'm very proudly an ally. I hate seeing people marginalized. I hate hearing stories from people like you that, you don't feel comfortable in this city. I feel comfortable in this city. Not as comfortable as I used to. It's a growing city. It's becoming bigger. It's becoming nastier. We do have shootings. We do have violence in this city. But to hear
There's
that,
still lots of hate.
Yeah, but I still feel comfortable enough. I've had neighbors move out of this neighborhood because they just, they don't like the way, things are going, and, there's too many kids in the park at night. And I don't feel that. I still feel relatively safe in my city. And to hear you tell me weeks back, months ago, that you don't have that comfort level that I do. I owe it to you just to hear you say that and to try and affect some sort of change. I want you more than anything. I want you. First off, I want you to find love. And I want you, when you find love, to feel comfortable to celebrate that wherever you happen to be in the moment. I hate that I don't have to think about kissing my wife as we walk down the sidewalk or pinching her bum or whatever else, but that you do, that bothers me.
Yeah, you gotta actually look around to see where you are before you do something like that, or PDA, right? It's not, and that's the other thing is that we have a whole gay village, and there's 2 businesses in the village. That's it. Tea's Pub and Wicked Wanda's. Those are the 2 gay businesses in the entire village.
Are there opportunities within the gay village itself for more rainbow-friendly businesses to open? Are there actually spaces like for rent there where somebody who's got an idea?
I believe so. Barrymore's.
Well, I mean, I don't even know. I mean, the Barrymore situation is one guy owns Barrymore's, the other person owns the building. And they're at odds with each other right now.
Being tossed out or something.
Right. So I don't even know where that whole thing stands. I mean, if I had an idea even to use that space, I mean, Barrymore's is one example, but there's got to be other spaces around there too. Like, do you not have like a coffee shop in the gay village?
Well, there's Bridgehead, which has got a rainbow flag there, But like the village goes from, I think it's Gladstone to Somerset. So that's the radius of the village, but it's nothing like Montreal.
That's what, 1.5 full blocks we've dedicated to our gay community in this town.
Yeah.
Wow. What kind of businesses would you like to see as a member as a front and center member of the gay community? What kind of business would you like to see open in the village?
I don't know. I mean, with the DiversityCapital.tv channel, I'd actually like to talk to any gay business or gay-friendly business, right? So, I mean, the village thing, I'm kind of over it because the Bank Street BIA, as far as I'm concerned, has not created a really awesome, Toronto-style or Montreal-style gay village for us, right? It's a government town. There are more closeted government employees that are gay, but don't go out because they love to have their little game nights and fancy dinners on the weekends. Like, they don't go out to support the LGBTQ2+ community.
But I think that's the same. I think that's the same in most communities, regardless of sexual orientation. I think that's just an Ottawa thing. We're just not a going out kind of city
because it's a government town, right? So, well, that's not true because I mean, I just started DJing on Friday, Saturday, Sundays at the pub, and we have lineups to get in every weekend. Every weekend, there's lineups and fights for days.
And that's awesome to hear. And maybe by virtue of the fact that, you know, that Tease is making some changes and trying different things, they're creating that demand. And maybe a savvy entrepreneur is going to see what's happening. And I mean, nothing would compliment Tease Pub more than yet another similar business opening up. I mean, nobody wants to shop in a dead mall, right?
No.
So if you've got, you know, this one amazing store in a dead mall, that store is going to do a lot better once 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other great stores open up in that mall. So,
well, I mean, Union 613, which is right beside Tease, who also uses microgreen, they're very friendly with Tease, and they talk to each other, and our customers go and have food and drinks there, and then their customers come to our place, and like, you know, it's like sloppy seconds. We share each
other. Now you're talking my language. I mean, gosh, I would, you know, I would love in a perfect world to have enough money where I could open up, you know, a radio studio somewhere. I would in a heartbeat. I mean, the Village just makes perfect sense for the business
to have
that I
your
run.
Own location.
And have people just be able to, you know, pop in and, you know,
walk
speak
by the
with
window
other.
and see you talking on the radio.
But no, but just to invite them in, almost, you know, like take Speaker's Corner to a whole new level. Here's the microphone. You know, what's going on? What's on your mind today? Hi, welcome. I don't know. All right. Well, yes. No, listen. Right. I will happily get in drag anytime that you think it is appropriate for me to do so. Anytime that I can celebrate and be, you know, the ally that I am. It's
well, I'm trying to get your attention for the next couple of weeks because I'd like
I know
DJ stuff.
I know, and between us, I won't get into too much detail. I've got a potentially very big announcement I'll be making in the next couple of days that could see some changes to what I'm doing around here. I don't want to scare anybody off. That's not the intention. Don't worry, BTR is not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere, but I think there's going to be a very large chunk of my time devoted to a certain project. So I'm not sure where I'm at yet. So it's not that I'm ignoring you. I'm just, I'm like the LRT right now. I'm kind of off the rails a little bit. I'm going nowhere fast. So anyway, I meant to get back to you yesterday, so I apologize, honey. Thanks for still speaking to me.
Oh, of course, darling.
Aw, see, you make a guy a John Burger with some microgreens, and he's your friend for life.
Oh yeah, well that TikTok video got 3 people to microgreens the next day, so yeah, it worked.
Really?
Yeah, I had to pick up the $20 packs for a couple of friends the next day.
I love hearing that. Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, Andre, you looked gorgeous last night, by the way. I cannot get over how amazing you always look in drag. I am jealous of that.
Yeah, colorblind queen does it again.
I need to lose some weight so I can fit into more fun outfits.
I lost the weight, but that's because I got rid of the
Well, that ain't happening in this world. Thanks for being part of the show today. I appreciate you always. Love you.
I love you too, honey. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. There goes Andre Proulx, Diversity in the Capital, also known as Ms. Horizon, also known as DJ Dis-moi Oui. Very proud to carry DJ Dis-moi Oui in the afternoon queer tea live from Tease Pub every Sunday at 2 p.m. here on blasttheradio.com. Hey, interesting conversations. Again, I never really sort of have an idea where this is going to end up. In fact, if I'm being honest, I really struggled this morning. I didn't really think I had much to talk about. I really thought this would be like a 5-10 minute thing and done, but I appreciate the conversation today. Thanks for being part of it. Let me just say this about that. Beginning at 9 a.m. every single weekday morning on your Facebook, on your YouTube, on your Twitter, on your Twitch, etc. On Twitch and on blasttheradio.com. If you are up for some fantastic music while you work, I invite you to listen on those platforms. Unfortunately, I can't stream music on the others, so we have to sign them off. But I am the Milkman, John Milky, and blasttheradio.com is where I do my thing every single day. And I hope you will join me in moments. Move for now.